Hey guys, today we have a Windrunner Spire plus 14. This one I plus 2. The group was pretty good. And this is the route. Normally people go Emberdawn. I think that's the name of the bird. But I go to the left first. I added the arrow so you can follow along. Because I know this map is a little bit weird. Well, I thought it was a bit weird to follow along. But that's essentially all you need to time this. And since I did this back to back, with the seat of Triumvirate 14, my gear hasn't changed at all. It's still the same stuff using the one-handed weapons, and those are my stats. And again, talents relatively the same. Nothing really changes. Um, in future videos, you'll see that I do change up a bit of talents for a bit more defensive ones. But anyways, here we go. So there's really two important things here they have to remember for the first bolt. Number one is that you have to interrupt the stewards so that they drag into the pool. And number two is that those ground keepers, they apply a debuff on you that reduce your armor. As you can see, I just pulled them and it's already stacked at 8. So you can probably let them stack higher, but use your stun here, your leg sweep as a reset. So when you see that the stacks are getting high and the timer drops down to about 2 seconds, you can just leg sweep them to drop all of your stacks. There I use my ring to knock them out of the blue circle, which is a damage reduction buff on them. You can actually start to pre-pull them so that when they cast it, they're already outside of the bubble. And again here, the DPS was pretty good. We had an Og Evoker, so it definitely helped out a lot. And again, one thing that you kind of notice is that Master of Harmony damage is like pretty low. I've been watching some of the other Brewmasters who play Shadowpan, and in these pools, like they're averaging like 200, 300k DPS. Well, 300k DPS in the higher keys, but it's still a bit strange to see that Master of Harmony's damage is kind of low. I don't know. Maybe I'm playing the class wrong. I don't know, but I've looked up on Murloc.io and I've seen that the top 50 brewmasters who are Master of Harmony are averaging around 77 to like 85k overall DPS on these keys. And you compare that to Shadowpan, and Shadowpan is over like 100k on most, like 90 to like 110k or something for keys around this level. So it's a bit, I don't know, it's a bit weird. I don't know. I don't think Master of Harmony is really going to be able to get too far. Maybe 17s, 18s, and then after that, it's just like GG. There, I used my Transcendence. So I dropped it at the start where this Woebringer was, and then I used it to pull all of the mobs back. It's not really necessary. It's just a little bit extra, I guess, for me. This pull, the more dangerous ads here are the what are they called? Ardent Cutthroats. Yeah. So when they use poison blades, it's essentially like an AOE, right? Like it'll hit everyone for a crap load of damage. So you have to make sure that you interrupt those. Apart from the fact that you're gonna take taking damage from this devoted Woebringer, which is this pulsing shriek. If everyone gets on it, you'll see that the shield breaks immediately, right? But people have a hard time on, hard focusing this mob for some reason. I don't understand why. Now this pool here, in like a 10, you can get a little gutsy and you can pull this guy with the shrieky with the Woebringer in the other room. But I was just trying to really play it safe. Like I wasn't trying to wipe the group because you can essentially wipe the group here because of again the Ardent Cutthroats with their poison blades, and then the Woebringer using her pulsing shriek. So it's like you have to deal with the puddles on the floor, and then you have to deal with the AoE that's pulsing, and the red paladin and would probably have a hard time DPSing the Woebringer if she's under some type of puddle. So it's not easy. It's a bit rough. So I decided to just split it into two. Once the ads were killed and this guy was a little bit low, I decided to just pull it. I didn't want to pull the two guys by the door, but I think the evoker there kind of pulled them with their little breath thing. but it kind of worked out. I mean, again, you can see in these couple of seconds here that it gets a little bit hectic. Um, I can't even imagine being in this for more than like a minute. There, we lost our dragon, so just have to be careful with this part. So this first boss, there's really not much to it. We have a resto druid, so and the warlock. So when those cursed spirits come out, they can dispel them. I think a curse dispel works. But the important thing here is dropping your puddles uh, relatively close to each other so that you can conserve a lot of space. You don't run out of space. What I do is I just drop mine on top of the same one, Celestial Brew, and then drop it. And if I get low, I'll expel harm because as you can see, I'm at 5 orbs. So I'm gonna top myself off here. You see again? Make sure 2 Celestial interrupted that, and as we're getting out, just doing a little bit of damage. The whole group gets really low with that AoE. And then this here, you know, just drag it behind the boss and have him yank her in, and that's it. The whole fight is pretty simple, pretty straightforward. My cleave damage, as you can see, is a little bit low. And again, I probably need to figure out or work on the rotation so that I'm prioritizing Tiger's Palm during my blackout combo, just to get the most use out of it DPS wise. But again, I guess that's something that I'll work on for future videos, especially if I'm going to be trying to do like 17s and 18s. I'm probably going to have to pump out a little bit more damage. And if it feels like it's not enough, I'll probably just go with Shadow Pan, sadly. Which I hate playing. Like, it kind of feels like I'm not in control of my own health bar. It's like one Celestial Brew, and sure, we get a what is now 8% permanent DR from dodging all the time. I don't know if that's really enough. It's probably different because you pump out so much damage that if you have enough leech, you can kind of self-heal a lot, I guess. I remember that was a thing in Season 3 of The War Within. Shadowpan monks with like 10% leech. What was it, 10%? Like, maybe like 7. They were self-healing a lot because they were doing so much damage. So it's probably the same thing now, I guess. But again, Master of Harmony is really what I enjoy playing. So I'm hoping I don't have to switch. What? That's the first boss. Now we're going to rotate to the other side of the wing, which most people do first, I think. I'm not sure why. I don't know if it's easier or something, or like cooldowns wise. I'm not too sure. Alright, so for this one, what I'm going to do is I'm going to para this one. I think I para this one. No, I don't. I interrupt it. Something interesting is if you play a Death Knight, you can control undead that one and just bring it with you. But if you para it, you can run down here and pull this pack to make sure that you gather them a little bit better, right? Again, interrupts here are really important. Those spirit bolts will, you know, drop your DPS down to like 20%. So you got to make sure that they're not getting hit as much. You're gonna see your oh, okay. I was gonna say you're gonna see your healer gets hit there, but luckily they don't. Our dragon does get hit. Oh, I guess well, not 22%, but like drops them 20-30%. Speaking of dragons, before I get sidetracked, it's kind of nice to see Augevokers back again. I think they're during the War Within. Their only real meaningful season was season 1, I think. Yeah, that's when they had Grim Batol and all that, and they really gelled well with like Prod Paladin. I think it was Disbreeze or something, whatever that comp was. They had a lot of utility that worked well together, and then after that Blizzard was like, no, you guys are too good, we need to nerf you. and we never got to see them again, like in the meta class up until now. Now it seems like they're meta with casters like mages and warlocks and unholy death knights. So it's really nice. Um, Again, simple pull here. Don't want to pull too much. These spiders, I think they can poison your team, so just want to make sure that I'm not exaggerating too much. Also, I really wanted to get my IO up, so I was like, I need to play it safe. You know, I've been watching a lot of videos, and I've been watching other people, well, some of the top brewmasters do these keys, and it seems like you don't really have to do a lot of crazy stuff to time these keys, right? If you have the damage, you are going to time it. Like that's it. Here I'm picking up these little lashlings. Again, these hit your team, they'll apply a poison on them, and like I'm just telling them not to go into it, but that I think my first ping wasn't clear, so he ran into it. And it's like, all right, whatever. Something I do want to experiment with is using my exploding keg to see if I can negate some of the damage from those bleeds. Um, so it reduces the damage you take by 99% from melee or from physical attacks, which I'm still not too super clear on. If it's like physical attacks, like oh, it's auto attacks or any attack that counts as physical damage, right? So you would think that by now I would know, but like sometimes I feel like there's other uses for exploding cake, so I kind of just need to explore it to figure it out. So it's all part of the learning process, right? Like I've been playing Brewmaster for about a year now. Um, I came back during the end of Dragonflight during that fourth season or whatever season it was, and I really liked it. I mean, I thought it was fun. But then season one of the War Within, I guess they made a lot of changes that kind of made it not feel so much fun, and it felt like you really relied a lot on your healer. So this season it feels a little bit different, right? Like you have a decent amount of self healing, even though we got a little bit of a nerf last week. But we're still hanging on. Like we're still holding our own, so that's good. And those firehawks, you want to interrupt them because if they keep ticking their AOE, yeah, the whole team's dead. So I'm using Platinator, and it highlights it as blue, as in like you can't interrupt it. But if you stun it, paralyze it, knock it back, or something, you'll be able to interrupt it. And here we go, Emberdawn. Uh, we had less waiting for this. You can see I also use Light's potential potions. I guess that's something that I also want to do a lot during the season. I want to start using more of these consumables, right? Here I don't have it, but I think I didn't use it. Pretty bad on me, but I didn't use a flask and I didn't use oils, right? Those oils give like 15% crit, 50%, sorry, 15 crit in haste. And I guess haste isn't good for us or whatever, but you know, having plus 30 crit rating or whatever is probably a decent amount. So I have to work on using that. But anyways, Emberdawn, this fight is pretty straightforward, right? Just use a defensive here. And defensive, I mean, Celestial Brew. You can use a Purifying Brew since it removes the stagger dot, and it also heals you. And you can even use Expel Harm, right? Like healing yourself if you have the talent that clears stagger every time you consume an orb. So all of this kind of like works really well in tandem with each other, right? There I got caught by one of those tornadoes, and you'll see that I get caught by a couple more. And the reason for that is that I don't know why my exploding keg wasn't even up, but the tornadoes that you get when you use a keg smash after exploding keg from the talent, they look a lot like this, right? So I was just looking at this stuff and I was like, wait, this looks very similar. I wonder if Blizzard's gonna do something about it. I'm pretty sure they're not, right? Like it's a very minor thing, as you'll see. Like it's not a game breaking thing, right? Like you just have to pay more attention. I have to pay more attention here.
Beautiful. She reminds me of Verisa.
And Emberdawn is down, and we have 18 minutes left to complete the rest of the dungeon, right? So if you see there, we have 11 minutes 20 something seconds, yeah, to do the rest, 2 plus 2 it, which means doing all of this trash and the boss, which shouldn't take more than like clearing the trash, probably no more than like about 3-ish minutes, 4 minutes, and then the boss at most is going to be 3, right? Um, So again, I'm pulling super safe here. I could have pulled this into the next pack to start clearing, and then just figure out a way to knock these archers into each other. But I opted not to do it. Right? It was just like I want to time this. I'm only missing 2 more to get Resilient 14s, so I didn't want to, didn't want to do too much. But once the archers are down, start moving all of this to the next one. As you can see, it's going pretty smooth. We only have 2 deaths. I think our dragon died one time, and then the red paladin, sadly. But it is what it is. Their damage is like really good. Demo Warlock, I think the Demo Warlock did a good amount of carrying here. Probably could have done this a lot faster if I would have played Shadowpan. But again, I'm trying to get as high as I can as Master of Harmony, just to see how far I can get. And one thing that they talked about recently is that they're gonna add achievements for 3400 rating, right? Which I think is probably like all 17s or all 16s, something like that. I'm not too sure. So it's within reach, right? Like it's not impossible. If you're playing Brewmaster this season, Brewmaster is the meta tank, so it makes it a little bit easier. You still have to really figure out how to do the surviving and the damage, but it's pretty solid, as you can see here. There I had to fortify and brew because we pulled a lot, right? And again, I'm not trying to get destroyed by any of this. Those, what are they called, the marauding grunts, they do that little whirlwind thing, right? So you can stun them out of it to keep them from casting, because it's dangerous. You saw there, the big ogre dude did his AoE Fire Nova thing, and then having the little whirlwind going on could have probably killed the red paladin, right? You saw that he bopped our dragon because our dragon is a little squishy, so he was always keeping an eye out for him. And these spectral axe throwers are a pain in the neck. You can't really pull them anywhere. You have to drag everything to them to make sure they get killed. And this is the last bit of trash. And this bit of trash, I think, sorry, I think we miss a little bit of percent. So after we kill this stuff, we go back and we pull something, I think. And the reason for that is because I forgot to pull some of the little Lashling patches before Emberdawn. So it was just like one little patch of grass that I forgot to walk over, and that would have gave us perfect count. So we had to go back and pull some of the grunts that were back there. I think we pull them into the boss, since I noticed that the healer had a decent amount of mana. Yeah, it was literally that. We could have pulled it into the boss. Sorry, I forgot we did it. And this guy, something that I started to do, as you can see there, I took a crap load of damage, right? Well, for this mechanic, he attacks for the second leap. It's for the person who's the farthest, right? So you want to make sure that you're always far. And 2, I see that a lot of people tend to just park themselves wherever they get the fear, and the melee can't hit the boss, right? So just drag your circle towards the boss, and everybody else has to follow, right? So during Rampage here, I used the Exploding Keg, and it helped me mitigate a lot of the damage, right? Like, it was a lot smoother there. It didn't drop to 20%. And again, a roll out for Reckless Leap. Here come the ads. you want to interrupt the caster. Spinning crane kick here to aggro. Well, I had a kick smash, so I didn't have to do it there. But interrupt the caster and then just pull them all to the spectral axe thrower. There, it was a little bit bad on the healer's behalf to drag the boss into us. We probably could have got shredded there, but we didn't. And again, Rampage here. I don't have a Celestial Brew, but I do have a Purifying Brew. And here I summon News out. It's a little more damage. Again, pulling it back, making sure that I'm the one who's at max range. And here comes the fear. I'm bringing it towards the boss. You only have to stack with one other person to not get the fear debuff. So the dragon and the warlock stack together on the outside, and the rest of us were in melee range so we can continue DPS. Again, there I had exploding keg, so I use it to help mitigate the rampage damage. So it's like a lot of these little things. We have like a defensive for almost everything, right? As Master of Harmony, I will say. Because you get the extra charge of Celestial Brew. So that's always nice. But you don't really have to worry too much about getting one shot here, I guess. He doesn't really do the damage to kill you yet. Interrupting the Mystic, dragging him towards the Axe Throwers, and this fight is all just like a rinse and repeat, right? It's just like nothing much really changes. So we're about to start the boss fight here, and I think it's the warlock who's like percent low. And this is when I noticed, I was like, oh no. But we still have enough time to kill this, right? And run back for percent and +1 it. But you're gonna see what happens right now. One quick thing here, and it's one of our cool ways of using Transcendence. So I drop it right at the edge of the circle, and then I run, right? So I'm just waiting for the circle to get as close to me. So make sure you don't overuse your abilities, so that you have a GCD to teleport back, and you're gonna have it up for every single one of those, right? So again, it's more DPS uptime for you. You don't have to worry about taking the little feather and then getting up in the air and coming back down. No, like, you just wait for it. This, use a cooldown for that. Celestial Brew, or you can, again, purify it. You'll clearance the stagger and heal. So again, you're going to see when she does her ability again. Here she's targeting the poor warlock. He survives. I'm just tossing a heal on them, I think. Sure, here comes the next little jump. And again, I drop my spirit there and I run, and I'm DPSing. I'm just rotating so I have enough time. I taunt her, and since I have hasty provocation, she runs right into me, so I don't really have a lot of downtime, right? So I'm trying to maintain myself on the boss. That's one of the nice uses for this. There, use Celestial Brew. I got knocked into that. No biggie, it's fine. But going back to the DPS thing, I'm doing 43k single target, right? Shadowpan are doing like 55k. I don't know what I'm doing wrong. I don't. I'm doing the rotation and everything, and it seems like I'm just not hitting. I don't know. I'm gonna have to sit at a training dummy again for this season. Again, drop my shadow there, run over to this. I think I'm spamming my execute right there. So they pinged this guy, and they're like, oh, this guy is going to teleport us back down. We have a minute, go down there. We have like a minute left to just kill one trash mob, right? Would have been funny if I've rolled out of the instance, right? I was actually worried about that. Another thing, magical shoes. People probably don't know that, but you take them and you get 200% movement speed, right? So if you didn't know about that, you can take them when you die and you have to run back. They were pinging everything. They didn't know what to do. But we decided to just fight these. They're right there. Um, Pretty simple. As you can see, we only need to kill one. I guess her DPS was split on this. I'm just like trying to figure out which one's gonna die first, but I guess the DPS was pretty dead spot even. And that's it. We had 26 seconds left on the +2. I'm just gonna run all the way back to the boss room to get teleported back. But that's the 27 Windrunner Spire. Sorry, that's a 14 Windrunner Spire. So I'll be uploading one more video on Thursday, and that one's going to be the one that gets me 14 resilient, which is Algathar Academy. I know a lot of you guys um watch videos and see that uh that's the one that's a little bit rough, especially the first pull, right? But I'll show you guys more or less how I do it as a Master of Harmony if you're interested. Since I'm still learning it, but I tried not to overcomplicate it, and you'll see like it's not too hard. It just takes a little bit of practice. If you know how to roll away, you'll be fine. But see you guys in the next video. Thanks for watching. I'll read any comments or questions you guys have. See you later. Take care.